Thanks for joining us for another Kickstarter conniption. Today we're looking at Domination from PHALANX Games.
As always, we want to make sure you're aware that our Kickstarter conniption videos are sponsored in part by our Kickstarter backers and by the creators of this game. Tantrum House Studio 3, I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Sara Meadows, and today we're previewing the game Domination from designer Wei Ching Ching. It's being brought to Kickstarter by PHALANX.
This is a 2 to 4 player card drafting, area control, battle simulation game that takes about 90 to 120 minutes to play. PHALANX was kind enough to send us a copy to check out, so let's take a look at how it's played.
To set up the game, lay out the board and place the round markers, the US and China markers, and the victory point tokens along the track.
Give each player their military units and tech board with cubes on each space.
Players put out all of their starting units on their specified spaces on the board, and then you're ready to begin.
Players will be dealt a specific number of cards for the round and will draft cards with the last card being discarded. Then, players take turns playing one card from their hand at a time, resolving its actions.
Players can spend the operation points on the card to do things like deploy ships or tanks, attack other units, or move.
Players can move a unit to another space as long as it's connected via their supply chain back to their country's spaces.
Or cards can be used to upgrade the tech on their board. Once enough tech has been upgraded, aircraft carriers or a second air fleet may be deployed. Rockets can be built and used to cause players to lose cards in the game, or even devastating nukes can be deployed.
If the card you play on your turn matches your player color, you can take the event action at the bottom.
Play continues with players drafting and playing cards each year of World War II until someone has reached the needed victory points to win.
But if the Allies fail to defeat Germany and Japan before the war's end in 1945, the Axis powers will win. Domination is a historically based war game that features a top-down view of the globe. It'll pit different countries against each other, just like in real life, in an attempt to dominate the map.
In the game, you are one of the 4 major powers in World War II. You can choose from Germany, Japan on the Axis, or one of the Allies, the United Kingdom or Russia. And later in the game, the United Kingdom or Russia can be able to control some more allies, as the United States and China might possibly enter into the war as well.
The game starts each round with players drafting a certain number of cards, and each player kind of has a different advantage based on the round. Sometimes you'll get an extra card in your hand, or you'll get to go first. Turn order will change each time you play the game, each round. You'll be drafting those cards, selecting what you want to be able to use for the round, and then they're multi-purpose cards, so you get to spend them in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, we mentioned there are the operations that anyone can use the top or the tech, or if the card matches your faction, you can use the event at the bottom, which is usually much more powerful than just the operations.
There's so many different strategies and approaches that you can take in the game, because getting your army out quickly on the board and deploying them is a great way to kind of get your foothold, but being able to upgrade that tech tree gives you the ability to really be strategic in the points that you spend later in the game.
Yes, this game was originally brought to market. Wei Ching Ching designed. It was called Mini World War II. This version, being brought by PHALANX to Kickstarter, has all new art, and some of the iconography has changed a little bit to make it a little easier to play the game.
The rule set for the game is actually pretty straightforward. It seemed a little bit heavy as we got into it, but once you understand, I'm drawing a card, I got one of these 3 choices, it really seemed to flow pretty quickly. I could easily see that it would take you an hour and 20 to play, just because there is some push and pull that goes on between players as you gain ground and then lose ground. But I always felt like I had a very strategic goal in the end. I liked that even though you had the luck of the draw, you were getting to draft those cards, which I felt reduced that a lot, and I felt like I was making some really meaningful choices as I played the game.
Yes, the game can be played as 2 players, each one playing your allied powers, United Kingdom and Russia, against Germany and Japan, or you can set that up as a 3-player or a 4-player team play.
Yeah, now obviously we are looking at prototype versions of the game, so I'm sure some of the artwork will change, some of the quality and lighting and things like that I'm sure will improve, and it'll be interesting to see what additional components come out. We had some neat little 3D printed pieces, and I'll be curious to see what the final piece actually looks like.
Yeah, and there will be a couple of Kickstarter exclusives like the piece cards and a couple other components that will be added to this game that were not in the previous version called Mini World War II.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, a lot of pieces, a lot of fun stuff. If it looks like something you might be interested in, then check out Domination on Kickstarter right now. And then as always, thanks so much for subscribing and following along here at Tantrum House. In order to take each other out of the game, and that's it. Dominated that review! It was a preview, not a review. Sorry. It was a preview. I didn't say any opinions. I only previewed it.